This is Tinchy.
You smell like a celebrity.
What we want to do is to have a bit of a conversation with you about other forms. A lot of what Tinchy is going to say will be about rapping and rhyming and so on and so forth. But I want to tell you one or two things about sonnets and ballads and other kinds of poetic form. So you'll see that there's a kind of spectrum of opportunities that you have when we think about how to rhyme in a poem. And we're going to have fun. So, over to you.
Yeah, man. Basically, I just wanted to... Do you lot ever read any poems or anything? Do you ever know? No.
I got bunching out the roundhouse with my sister.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of like writing any... What music are you all into?
I'm into like John Mason.
You like Biggie Smalls? You know what? Let me speak to you first. You like Biggie Smalls, yeah? See, when you're listening to what he's writing or what he's singing about,
I listen to what he's singing about.
Do you relate to anything he's saying?
Like, you can relate to what he's saying.
Who's your favourite artist who you listen to?
My favourite is Stryder.
That's so good, yeah. Say like I might listen to a song, I might relate to something where I feel like I'm going through this and they're talking about the same thing. Say like Eminem. Eminem's got a lot of things where it's deeper. So is there a particular song that you feel like, yes, you relate to this?
That song there, Alicia Kelly.
Is there any lyrics? What's as a song? What's it about?
It's about this girl, yeah?
And it's her friend,
It's her friend, isn't it? It's her best friend.
But
She loves him and that.
But
He does not love her.
But you don't love her, but she wants...
Oh, they're best friends, but she wants more.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you relate more?
Yeah.
Oh, has anyone here ever tried writing any lyrics?
No.
No.
Well, a few of them have written poems.
Oh, you've written poems before, yeah?
But you've written some lyrics.
Michael's written lyrics.
Michael, yeah, do you know like songwriting, lyrics and poetry somehow relates, do you know what I mean? And I never used to understand that, do you know what I mean? But somehow, because when I'm writing what I'm writing, it's more from how I'm feeling. And people used to ask me, do you just pick words and rhyme them together? But it's a bit deeper than that, and I guess this is what we're here today to understand.
I mean, I absolutely agree completely with what Tinchy was saying, that these are really kind of like, they're like cousins. Song lyrics and poems are like cousins. The difference is that one has music attached to them and one doesn't.
Do you ever want to write a song, yeah, where you just want to swear bears?
Yeah, do you know what? That's like when I guess you're angry about loads of things, you just want to lay it out, do you know what I mean? And when you're writing, that's where the skill comes into it, where I guess you can write a lot of swearing words, but there's different ways you can explain why you want to swear, why you're angry for, do you know what I mean? So you can put that and then once you record it.
How much do you write in your head before you get...
You know what? Sometimes some things naturally spring into my head, do you know what I mean? Like, I could speak to someone or go through something and then I'll get something idea into my head. But I guess when, most of the time, sometimes the beat influences what you want to talk about. Yeah. If there's something where like, the beat plays a part as well, because if you give me a beat where I feel like a sad sort of beat, I won't be talking about parties or nothing. Do you know what I mean? I won't speak about happiness. So you gotta have the right mix, but at the same time, that's what you gotta voice yourself. If you're working with a producer, tell them what you want, what kind of song you want to talk about, and then work together, man. Yeah.
Have you ever started writing a song, yeah, and you're angry, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you think, oh, fuck, I'll finish it tomorrow, yeah? And then the next day you're not angry, so you can't write it.
Yeah, I hear that. That's just like process what you go through, because on the day where you feel like it should never be a rush, do you know what I mean? When you're writing it, when nothing ain't coming to your head, don't get angry with yourself.
What's the longest it's taken you to write a track?
Me personally, it doesn't really take me that long to write a track, but sometimes I do start something and then leave it on purpose, and then next day I'll come to it. Yeah, I'll come back and I feel like I've got fresh ideas. And I guess sometimes I think the first thing that springs to your mind is what's in your heart, so you gotta lay it out, and that's one separate thing from writing lyrics. When it comes to like the poetry side of it, it's another thing where you gotta think of, say for example, I never worked like this, but if I gave you a word now, and I told you give me 3 different things that rhyme with it, some people work like that, do you know what I mean? Just find loads of words and then...
Well, there are 2 ways of answering that, I think. One is that you can say it takes you a morning or a week or whatever it might be. And the other thing, of course, the thing that you write today is actually, in some sense, something that you've been writing all your life, because it's full of this, it's full of the stuff that you've picked up. So if you write something very quickly, which you say you often do, I've no idea how old you are, and I'm not going to ask you, but in fact, all your life is in it.
Yeah.
And the other very important thing to bring out of this bit of the conversation is that we tend to think that the things that we write down immediately are going to be the best way of putting it because we're on fire with our strong feeling about it, whatever it might be, because we're in love with somebody or we're cross about something or whatever it might be. But 99 times out of 100, revising it is a good idea. Our second thoughts usually are better than our first thoughts. We can put it into shape, we can see that we've repeated a word when we don't mean to. I mean, all that kind of basic stuff you can sort out by looking at it later and more slowly. So I think there's a very interesting thing to say about writing, which is not always very easy to demonstrate in an encounter like this, which is that part of the point of taking time over it is to let the thing cool down a bit. In fact, to get yourself into the state of feeling that you perhaps almost didn't write it yourself, but to look at it as if you're looking at somebody else's piece of work, and getting really quite tough with it, knocking it into shape.
Yeah, and I feel like there's different things as well, as in sometimes you might not want to write about certain things, do you know what I mean? Like, say before when I was younger, I didn't really find it comfortable to speak about love or anything like that, because I felt like that's something where I feel I don't need to speak about it, but that's the stage you've got to get past, and I guess, I don't know, anyone been in love or in love?
Love don't exist.
Love don't exist. Yeah, that's something you can talk about.
Thing.
I don't know, say you might be speaking about one thing, but you don't have to be so obvious about it, do you know what I mean? As in, you can say if you're even talking about like you loving someone, you don't have to speak about you and the person, you can speak about man, or something. Just that's how you get lyrical with it, that's how you get poetic with it. Yeah, turn into a story.
That's very good. And what rhyming demands are there?
What rhyming, do you know what, sometimes I feel like I might write something, I feel like might have used that rhyme too many times, but there's so many different ways you can use a rhyme, and like I was saying, with an example, with the rhyming pattern, like, it's not always the first thing that comes to mind.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But how strict is it? I mean, if we were going to sit down and write a sonnet...
It's not strict at all.
Quite.
This is someone like Eminem, the way he flows, when you hear it, he puts words into places that it don't sound like it should be there, the words don't rhyme. But because of the way his flow is going, he just goes in with the truth. So like the majority of the time his words ain't actually rhyming, but because of his voice, because of the flow that he's got, it sounds alright.
Who inspires you? Who inspires me? You know what, general life, but I listen to a lot of Jay-Z when it comes to lyrically and how he words things together, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of different...
You know Jay-Z, in High State of Mind, yeah? Because he said, Jesus can't save life starts here when the church ends. Yeah?
That's what I'm saying.
He says, he's got loads of subliminal
Like
messages
talking about it,
inside. That's one reason why
At the same time, so for example, like, what's the thing? He says, what do you say? He says, Jesus can't save you, life starts when the church ends, yeah? All right, that's like, see what he's saying to you. It's deeper than that. It's not what you're reading, but it's not what you're hearing. Like, at the same time, he's got if saying Jesus can't save you doesn't literally mean Jesus can't save you, life starts when church ends. You know what I mean? It's a hidden message, man.
Yeah, but saying that in a song, that's going to come across like that. You're not going to finish it enough. That's how you say it, you're not going to finish it. But everyone will listen to it and have their own opinion to it. I would listen to it. All the community heard that.
All that we've just proved by responding as we did to that thought is that everybody has something slightly different to say about this line. But it was a success. It was a success in the sense that it allowed us to see very vividly how an interesting line, a good line, is one which allows us all to be ourselves in our response to it. I wasn't much older than you when I wrote this poem, and so I thought it would be quite interesting for you to hear it in that respect. I wrote it when I was 20, so that's now...
Not that long ago.
Not that long ago, thank you. Not that long ago. It's called Anne Frank House. Even now, after twice her lifetime of grief and anger in the very place, whoever comes to climb these narrow stairs discovers how the bookcase slides aside, then walks through shadow into sunlit rooms, can never help but break her secrecy again. Just listening is a kind of guilt. The Westerkirk repeats itself outside as if all time worked round towards her fear and made each stroke die down on guarded streets. Imagine it. 3 years of whispering and loneliness and plotting day by day the Allied line in Europe with a yellow chalk. What hope she had for ordinary love and interest survives her here, displayed above the bed as pictures of her family, some actors, fashions chosen by Princess Elizabeth. And those who stoop to see them find not only patience missing its reward, but one enduring wish for chances like my own, to leave as simply as I do and walk at ease up dusty, tree-lined avenues, or watch a silent barge come clear of bridges, settling their reflections in the blue canal. Now it's your turn. That's very nice. I mean, that's a very kind of traditional
So,
sort of...
you know what I wanted to ask you? See, when you're like writing your poems, are you ever thinking of rhyming?
Some of my poems do rhyme, and actually it's very nice of you to say that, because it allows me to say something that I wanted to say and had forgotten to say, which is that I think what I do when I'm getting my ideas for a new poem in a very early stage is I make quite early on a decision about whether it's going to be a rhyming poem or not.
So poems don't have to rhyme all the time?
No, they don't. They absolutely don't. But what does have to happen all the time is that there has to be a proper good marriage between the idea and the rhyming or not rhymingness of the poem. In other words, there are certain forms which help the release of whatever idea it is that you're trying to get across, which is really what I want to talk about when we've heard Tinchy's thing in a minute. So I'll leave it there if I may for the time being, but hang on to that thought, because it's a very important one.
You could write this, like, say if Tinchy wrote a song, yeah, you could write, like, not exactly the same, but like about the same thing in a poem.
Yes.
But it could be written in a completely different way.
Absolutely, and that's what I hope we're all going to do every day we meet.
I'm gonna give it.
That'd be
I'm gonna
great.
give you the lyrics to the song.
I'm going to put it, take a photocopy of this, you know, just like take it back to my house, copyright it.
Yeah, this lyric's called, this song, shall I say, it's called Let It Rain. And it's on like on a new album I'm doing, and like it's more about, from when I first started, I felt as if a lot of people was doubting me, and I felt like as if they didn't give no chance and the doors were closed on you, and then you stay strong, you know what I mean? And that's what you gotta have, you gotta believe in yourself, as in, you gotta understand where never be shut down. I'm gonna play you the track, yeah? Is this as loud as it goes?
They say I'm an optimist. Now look, I'm top the list. Approval not to this, from negative to positives. Yeah, don't have to blame. No parachutes. We in the rain, fuck the gate, I'm for my troops. Forecast to be great again. Feels as if it never ends. Won't hide behind the door anymore. Let it rain. Said I had one hit and wondered about my part of songs. Asking what's the label on? Hackers came along. What the hell this sound is scratch? Told my A&R he's okay, but now the game was wrong. Now picture this. Now I've got his they miss. I planned it all to fall and black the mist. And now it's hours. Let it rain for hours. From the basement to the rooftop. We just play the powers. Forecast to be great again. Feels as if it never ends. Won't hide behind the door anymore. Let it rain. Let
like it?
We
You want an umbrella? Yeah.
fantastic. Doesn't it feel incredibly moving and emotional too? It's fantastic.
So when you hear that, what kind of what do you understand from it? What do you understand from the chorus or the verse?
Mate, it's sort of saying like, yeah, like, see saying let it rain. Sort of like, I don't give a fuck, like. Like, when it rains, yeah, you're just like, oh shit, it's raining.
Yeah.
You're sort of saying like, I don't care, it's there, I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I completely think that Connor is absolutely right in what he's understood the thing to be doing. It is also true that it moves its ground a bit, doesn't it? From feeling rained on, sort of saturated by bad things at the beginning, to at the end feeling much more positive about it. I mean, you say at the beginning of the thing that they say I'm an optimist as though they're wrong and you're not, but actually by the end of it, we feel that you might be after all.
Yeah, like to say I was an optimist and now look, I've topped the list.
Exactly.
Before if I'd have said, yeah, I feel like one day I'm going to have a top 10 song, people are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then like a few years later, I had some, so it's like, you know what I mean,
Indeed.
everything, and then
Yes.
as in, don't ever hide behind
Yes.
the clouds, just let it rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I want you to do as part of your homework is to do some writing. And I would like you to bring it in for the next time I see you. And I think, given what we've been talking about and hearing today, it would be very sensible if you wrote it in the same sort of form that we've just seen Tinchy's poem appearing in. You don't have to write about this, but what I want you to write about, if you're stuck for an idea, is just take the word home and interpret it for yourselves. Write something about home, okay? It could be the house you live in, it could be about your family, it could be about home in a larger way. But if you think, actually, that's not a good idea and I really want to write about something else, do write about something else.
I think that would be cool. And like, as in, do you want them to write as in how they'll be writing like a lyric, how I write, or like a poem,
Yes,
like how you write?
I think it would be best if you wrote,
So do you want them to rhyme, or because your poem
yes,
obviously
I would rhyme in the sort of way that Tinchy rhymes in his poem. Poetry is an enormous church. I mean, it's a huge mansion full of millions of different rooms. And in one room is the kind of poetry that I write, in another room is the kind of poetry that you're writing, in another room is the kind of poetry that each of you individually will be writing. And we really do ourselves a disservice, and we certainly don't do anything for poetry if we just think of it as being one particular thing and not a whole host of things. So it is a very broad church. And the other thing is about rhyming, that it's often thought of as something which stands in the way of our strong feeling. But anybody who's heard Tinchy's song and the way that it uses rhyme to get its strong feeling across knows that's not true. Rhyme is a very, very important way of releasing our feelings. So if you want to rhyme, rhyme. And if you don't want to rhyme, don't, okay? And thank you very much indeed, and thank you very much to Tinchy for coming. So see you soon.